Welcome, everyone. I hope everyone is having a good day. Today, we're here with a member of a family that has been having problems. Hello, and welcome. So, before we get started, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I work, I wake up, go to the office, deal with paperwork, numbers, a few coworkers who honestly could use a little higher math skills.
Well, math doesn't come easy for everyone, does it?
Well, no, I suppose not. But if folks are working in the office, I'd hope they learn something from their high school math.
Right. Well, other than work, you're brought here today for a reason. It's about your family, specifically your spouse. I've been informed that there's some things that you forgot.
Well, I work a lot of hours. I have a lot on my mind. I go to meetings. Uh, I got things to fix. I get busy and I forget a few things. It's not like a big deal.
Right. And I understand that. Work can get overwhelming, but what I was told is sometimes you forget things that shouldn't be forgotten. I actually have a list here, and there's quite the things on it, things you've forgotten. Let's start with this. You forgot your kid's soccer game.
Okay, well, there was a lot going on that day. Someone else was supposed to cover a work meeting and he called up the last minute. So I got called in, what I'm supposed to do. I had to cover the meeting. I could have been there if it wasn't for that. Work comes up.
You mean your kid's game or a different game on TV? Right. Let's change the question a little. Would you have skipped your kid's soccer game if that meeting had went the way it was supposed to?
Well, well, no, of course not. I was just giving an example. Hypothetical situation and all that.
Right, but you did end up missing the soccer game, your kid's soccer game.
Because I had to cover the meeting, just said that.
Did the meeting take that long? There was no time after to see the last part of your kid's soccer game?
Well, I had things to do after the meeting. Some papers were a mess and some numbers, and I don't really trust anyone, else messing with it or fixing it, right?
But you did have time. You could have left the work with someone else. I doubt you're the only person at your workplace who knows what they're doing. To me, it sounds like you just cling to your work. Is that true?
Okay, well, believe me, I'd love to get out of work quicker. I'd love it. But there's some folks that act like they forget everything the second that they walk into the office, so I gotta take over.
Speaking of forgetting, there's something else I'd like to bring up on the list that I have. You forgot to drop your kids off at a doctor's appointment, even though you made a previous agreement that you would do so and be on time.
So what? It's a doctor's appointment. Can't those be rescheduled through like online now or something? Like it's not that hard to call up and reschedule.
No, your kid's appointment was a checkup for their broken wrist. Besides, doctor's appointments are hard to schedule these days, even through the phone. This one where your kid was supposed to go to sounds pretty important, don't you think?
Okay, so I forgot, but that was only one time, and I had something going on in the office.
Was it another meeting? Tell me, what happened this time?
Stuff happens in the office. It's not just clear 9 to 5. I have to look out, like catch up after people, and when someone does something wrong, it falls on me. I've been there the longest, so people look to me to lead and to pick up the slack. And if I don't pick up that slack, guess what? We can't afford that doctor's appointment if I'm not making the money.
All right, all right. I can see we're getting a little out of hand. So, how about we take a deep breath?
All right, fine. I'm calm.
Are you sure? If you need a minute, you can step out.
No, 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 no. It's all right. Let's just get this over with.
All right. If you're certain. Now, I saved this one because I found it very interesting. Not only did you forget your kid's soccer game, your kid's appointment, you also forgot the anniversary between your spouse and you.
I, oh,
I just can't believe you forgot an anniversary. Dare I say, it would have been fine if you remembered last minute. You could get the flowers at the local store, chocolates, or whatever your spouse likes. But from what I've been told, you did not remember it at all. In fact, you forgot last year's anniversary and the year before that. You don't have time to say anything against that?
look, I already get tossed around at work, okay? I don't want to hear that when I get into my own house, okay? My spouse, they've been keeping me, they want me to keep things simple. Like, that's what I did. I don't understand the issue.
There's a difference between no effort and doing something simple.
What do you want me to do? Like, go to the nearest dollar store and get them some flowers?
No, no. I tried that on my own spouse years ago. It didn't work. Let me tell you, I'll tell you that. They still bring it up to this day.
So tell me, what the hell am I supposed to do?
Well, we can talk to something in relation to your spouse. A concern they brought to my attention, is your loyalty.
I beg your pardon, my loyalty to what? My job? My spouse? I'll have you know I've been doing my jobs for years now, okay? I know the ins and outs of that place. I even can tell you where the best bathrooms are, okay? So don't even insinuate that I'm doing crap at my job, okay? I'm the
Hold on, hold on. I never said you were bad at your job, all right? Let's just take this calm and easy. Now, let me explain. From what I can see, you take your job seriously, but it does feel like you cling to your job, almost as an excuse. You don't remember your kid's soccer game, a medical appointment, or your anniversary. And and there's another thing I believe we should discuss in relation to your marriage.
Okay,
It's actually a direct complaint from your spouse.
okay.
I've been informed that you've been more active on the family computer, even more than your kids.
So what? Is that a crime to go on the computer now?
Not at all. But what strikes me as odd is the content you've been using on the computer. See, your spouse saw something when you accidentally left the computer on. I want to give you a chance to explain yourself and maybe clarify if there's been some type of misunderstanding, a mistake.
Uh, what are you talking about? What mistake?
I can't believe I'll be saying this, but your spouse saw what looked to be an online magazine website. I won't be able to say the full name, but I could tell you it starts with the word penthouse. I think you know which website we're talking about.
No, no.
No, as in you deny this, or you don't know which website I'm talking about?
All of it. I have no recollection of this penthouse thing.
Well, since you say that, I actually have a guest here who can help confirm what I've been told by your spouse.
You what?
Yeah, I should have invited. Yeah, I invited a guest. They should be here shortly, and it's actually your neighbor. Your spouse mentioned you invited your neighbor over to the house in the past, since you two were having some troubles with the family computer.
So what? That heap of junk is always causing me trouble.
Well, it seems your neighbor accidentally caught what you've been looking at on the computer.
Like, what are you talking about? You weren't joking about bringing my neighbor here? What is that prick dope, like, joining us?
Now, no need for that kind of language. Let's talk a little before our guest gets here. Go on, get your anger out peacefully.
I promise you, if I see that prick show up, I don't know what will happen, okay? I'm telling you, if they show up, things are gonna get.
Hang on now, hang on. I said there's no need for that type of language. That's a bit harsh there. Do you hold a grudge against your neighbor or something?
My neighbor may be a whiz with the computers, okay? But I've caught them making my eyes at my spouse before, okay? Like, I tolerate that son of a.
Ah, kinder language here.
Okay, All right, fine. I tolerate that hooligan because they know how to get the computer stuff done, okay?
Now, not me, your spouse, and your neighbor both saw what you accidentally left on the computer. You may be good with numbers, but it seems like you forget the basics of exiting out of tabs and clearing your history.
But what are we talking about? Clearing it? Like, I don't have anything that I need to clear. Since I called him over to fix viruses, okay? Not to clear my history. I don't need to do that.
Well, I hope from now on you remember to exit out of tabs properly and clear your history. If anything, I think you should not visit that website anymore. A computer virus is no fun.
Yeah, that's what it was.
What is
The weird stuff that shows up on my computer.
a virus then? The weird stuff you got on your computer was a virus?
Yeah, that's all it was.
Right. But I hope you know that viruses they don't fall from trees. Sure, viruses are tricky, but they come from somewhere that may not be secure online. So if you're getting a virus on your computer, you probably went somewhere you shouldn't have been. On a shady website or doing something you shouldn't have been doing. And that's probably what they caught you doing. That's why you should erase your history or just not visit those sites in general.
No, I don't know. Maybe I accidentally opened an email that had a virus in it. I'm not so tech savvy. Not everyone can be trusted. That's why I called my neighbor.
Bit funny you say that. Very true, but it seems like you're not careful enough. My theory is maybe a similar website to what you brought up caused your virus.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the website. I can't say the full website name, hence referring to it as Penthouse. For now, from my brief research, that website didn't cause many viruses to happen. I may be wrong on some special cases, but it's normally either other relating sketchy searches that could be damaging with viruses.
No. I already told you, okay? I don't know anything about that website. So whatever my neighbor or my spouse may have told you, they're lying, okay? They're lying. I don't know how else to say it. They're lying. They're liars.
That's a bold claim. I see you still have some denial, but how about we take a break? Our guest, your neighbor, should be coming up soon. You'll step out for a bit while I talk with them. We'll be back right after a short break. Stay tuned for what happens next.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
That is so fat.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. Nobody!
But I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
Every day, more and more college students choose to drink more coffee and not get enough sleep. This results in them sleeping during class, in obscure places in public, and when they're trying to study. Make sure you get enough sleep. Don't always rely on coffee.
Welcome back, folks. We're here again, but with unfortunate news. I received this a little while ago. Our guest, who I could have sworn was arriving soon, couldn't make it. They missed their window of arrival. I had a few others try to reach out, but no messages back. So hopefully it's just a traffic issue and nothing serious. It seems like we'll be talking for a bit more before your neighbor arrives.
Good. You know, I didn't want that person coming in here anyway.
I see, and thank you for keeping a friendly language. I don't have anything else on my list here, but I suppose we could go over the last thing again, the computer situation.
Oh, that again? Like, can't we go something else, like the weather or something?
I would, but I can see you're trying to avoid the topic. You mentioned you disliked your neighbor because they made eyes at your spouse. Is that the only reason, or is there something more?
You know, I think it's like really good outside, if we want to talk about that.
That's not what I asked. Now please, answer my question.
All right, okay, fine. All right, my neighbor, they just don't sit right with me, okay? Ever since they moved into my town, they've been making eyes at my spouse, okay? I know what those eyes mean. They're trying to get with my spouse, okay? I can't have that.
Have they made any moves on your spouse? Any hidden messages, secret meetups, flower sending, anything?
Okay, well, no, but I'm telling you, I know the look. You know, it's the look of a spouse stealer. That son of a gun is trying to butt into my personal life.
Well, if you have no direct evidence that your neighbor has been trying something, can you say for certain that they are? You can have suspicions, but those are based on gut feelings.
All right, like, did you bring me here to interrogate me? Like, or just crack me open about something that my spouse sent you?
Is there a difference? I mean, this all came to be because your spouse and neighbor both found odd things on the computer when you last used it.
No. If you bring out Penthouse one more time.
No need to get violent, but noted. Why does it bother you so much about any of this? Do you see this as a personal attack?
Yeah, obviously I do. Like, I work for hours and hours. I get handed things that other people in the office are supposed to do. I get called around like a fairy godmother. I get nagged at home when I'm finally trying to relax. Right? It's always go do this. Don't forget that. You know, it's always too much. And for what? For my own spouse to doubt me? You know, it's insulting.
I understand, but you constantly forgetting things, important things, can impact a relationship and the trust in it. I mean, you're more than a dedicated office worker. You're a spouse and a parent. Seriously, and not to mention that. Hold on, I just got a reply from the others about our guests. It seems. Oh, that's not good. Someone found your neighbor, and he's hurt. I'm afraid we'll have to cut this short. They'll have to reschedule, and...
Nah, no.
I'm sorry?
I don't need to worry about any of this, okay? Whatever my neighbor saw on my computer, they're making it up. They've had it out for me since day one.
Are you all right?
I don't need to take any of this. You know, I don't even know why I accepted to come here, for real.
Okay. I think we'll just take an emergency short break. Let's get you cooled down. I suppose we'll be back again.
Finally Thursday. Tonight's the night. Are you ready?
You know I can't. I have that test tomorrow that I've been talking about.
Cognitive dissonance, huh?
What?
Cognitive dissonance? The state of having two conflicting thoughts.
What?
Basically when you can't decide on something because the two things you want to do are contradictory to each other. So for example, you want to go out, but you know you should study for your test.
And how do I fix this exactly?
You either have to change your beliefs, or you have to change your actions.
Where did you even learn this? I can't even spell cognitive dissonance.
I'm a comm studies major, remember?
Yeah, whatever. Alright, well, I guess I'm staying home because there's no way I'm gonna survive tomorrow without studying.
Whatever. Suit yourself.
Stairs. 4 out of 5 college students suffer from fear of stairs, whether it be to the first floor, the third, or the sixth. The fear is strong. But we need to stop this. We need to work together and conquer these stairs, step by step. So stop taking the elevator, take a deep breath, and take the first step to a new you.
Hi, and welcome back to whatever this show is called. I'll admit being a host is a little odd, you know, talking to the camera and hoping people are watching and listening. I've never been listened to. I mean, outside of what I need to say at work, I tell people to pick up the pace of their job, and they tell me to slow down. I correct them, and they try to fix it, but then they continue repeating the mistake more times than a dog chasing their own tail. Funny, isn't it? The one time I was here to talk about myself, and it wasn't about my troubles, no. Life's not that fair, okay? I had to get questioned, embarrassed, ridiculed, and for what? An audience who's probably not even listening? And for the audience not to be on my side? If you're listening to me now, good. Don't worry, our guest is fine. They're just not here. And your host, or your old host, is on a short break. He's taking longer than expected. Poor lad hit himself against the door, but it's gonna leave a nasty bruise on the head. Now that I feel that the focus is all on me, I can talk about whatever I want. So, I feel like you guys really need to understand why I treat my family the way that I do, okay? My father was a lot like me, working hard hours, working long, but without that work, where would we have been? You know? Like, I keep trying to explain that. If I'm not out there putting in these long hours, where is my family gonna go? Where are we gonna sleep at? What food are we gonna eat? You know? But no, I just get ridiculed and I don't spend enough time with them. And I'm looking up weird stuff on the computer, like, what does that even have to do with, like, what are we even talking about? My father was exactly like me, and I loved him for it. That really feels wonderful to get off my chest. Ooh. Well, I should probably figure out how to get rid of this footage. I just want to brush up on my technology skills. No other reason. Hopefully this works out. That's all for today. I suppose I should say thank you for watching, out of courtesy. And have a wonderful day. Goodbye.